What's going on, people? It's Gunsferrari from NextGenTactics, and I'm bringing you a Call of Duty Black Ops weapon demonstration mini-series. Each video will showcase a specific weapon using only iron sights, no attachments, and no kill streaks to ensure that the video demonstrates the use of the weapon only. At the end of each video, I'll provide my personal opinion on the weapon and make recommendations in terms of attachments and in some cases perks and equipment. The AUG. Yes, this is quickly becoming many gamers' favorite weapon to use, and has been and continues to be compared to the TAR in Modern Warfare 2. Now, in Modern Warfare 2, the AUG was an LMG, and I mean, you look at this weapon here, the capability, the power of it, you can kind of understand sort of why Modern Warfare 2 classified it as an LMG. It is a formidable weapon. The accuracy, the power, the fire rate on this, it is one of the best assault rifles in Black Ops by far. Very, very versatile, will drop your opponents very quickly. Now, I think when you're looking at, I'm always using the statistics in the creative class, when you're looking at it there. And if you're looking at it from that perspective, you really wouldn't see why people would use the AUG. And I think it's misleading, and maybe this is where, my fellow gamer researchers that know damage or bullet damage would know why the AUG is actually considered to be a better weapon. And really, I mean, it's considerably weaker. It's weaker than the Commando. It's weaker than, the AK. It actually doesn't, I think it has the same damage rate or damage level like when you're in the creative class as the Enfield, and clearly is superior over the Enfield. I mean, once you start using the AUG, I mean, that thing is quite a versatile weapon to use. So I think the stats on this, as you guys have always been saying, is quite misleading. I don't think that they're actually that accurate in terms of all of the weapons, and definitely not in the case of the AUG. I mean, if you look at it in comparison to the Commando has better damage, better, I think, range and stuff like that, or whatever it is. It doesn't really matter. Just overall, it's deemed to be a better weapon. But I find, for me, like in close quarter, for whatever reason, I find the AUG will actually drop the opponents faster than what the Commando will. I don't know what it is. Commando for long range, considerably better. I mean, with the AUG, when you're using it long range, you do have to sort of use controlled burst fire in order to make those hits, because it's not exactly the most accurate weapon. But if most players, when you're playing this game, once you become familiar with the maps and the game types, you tend to run and gun a heck of a lot more, unless you're playing competitive, which not a lot of people do. I mean, a very small percentage play competitive. So you're going to tend to run and gun a lot. And in doing so, I find the AUG really is, I don't know, an underappreciated weapon. And I think the stats on it are very misleading. I mean, if you get a hold of the AUG, try that thing out, put a silencer on it, or, if you're having problem with accuracy like what I do, then you might want to use the red dot, only because, again, over longer ranges, it's not exactly the most accurate weapon. And until you learn to, controlled burst fire, then you may not be able to use it properly and get those hit markers. Well, you don't want a hit marker, but you know what I mean. Get those hit detection on the long range ones. But definitely, I think this is a very misleading weapon, and I've seen some people do some amazing things with it close quarter. Now, in terms of the perks and the attachments and stuff, like I said before, many people, from my experience of getting killed with it, you like to use the silencer. And again, because you're not necessarily going to be making those long-range shots, you're going to be actually more or less running and gunning, kind of like with the AK-47, because it's atrocious and the kickback on it is bad for those long-range shots. I mean, you can still make them. You can make them with any weapon, as a matter of fact. But because it's not exactly an ideal long-range weapon, you can get away with using the silencer, because the silencer is going to take that range away. But if you're running and gunning with it, you don't really care about it. So definitely silencer is something you want to consider using with the AUG. As I said before, if you're having problems, if you're finding on sort of a little bit larger maps, not on the firing range or Nuketown, but on a little bit of the larger maps, Array or anything like that, I would probably consider also using the red dot on it, just so that you can, where the actual bullets are flying or the rounds are going, because it's not the most accurate weapon. Now, in terms of perks, I mean, that's really highly subjective. It depends on your game style as well. Like I said before in when I was talking about the Galil, if you're going to be going through a lot of buildings, you know, claymores in this game are very, very problematic. They're incredibly hard to detect. The laser lines are not easily seen no matter what. You know, I know Treyarch's always saying, look for the laser lines, but you can't see the laser lines on these claymores. They're the worst laser lines of claymores, and maybe makes them more effective, which is why they're probably not allowed in competitive play, because, you know, if you're good at claymores, such as myself, you're not going to be able to find them. They're going to kill you, and, you know, I see why people say they're a little bit cheap, and maybe they are. I mean, I've kind of gone away from claymores. I'm still good at using them, but I don't want to rely on them to get me my my kills and stuff. I'd rather go around and shoot them or knife people. It's a lot more rewarding. Unless, of course, you get knifed yourself, and then it kind of sucks. But anyway, if you're going to be going through buildings a lot, definitely Hacker Pro is something that you're going to want to look to acquire because of claymores, strictly because of claymores. Other than that, I mean, if you're going through, like, even Hanoi is something, firing range, Nuketown to a certain degree, but I wouldn't really waste it on Nuketown, only because if you avoid the buildings, people are always camping up there, but I mean, avoid the buildings. You don't really have to worry about claymores too much. It's pretty easy to avoid on that, but yeah, Hacker Pro on that. Else, use Ninja and then just move around the maps a little bit more stealthy. Stay on the outside, stay on the perimeter, so that the people can't hear you, and then you don't have to really worry so much about the actual claymores. And that's an easy way to avoid that, but you know, it all depends on what you want to do. If you want to be the guy flushing the rats out. Peace. Get the latest updates and stay in touch with the NGT community with our all-new Facebook application. Check the description of the video for details.